Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video, and today we're going to be predicting the F1 2021 season. We're going to be predicting the Teams Championship and also the Drivers Championship. We're going to go through every individual position, I guess, and just go through where I think everyone's going to stand out. Now, first of all, before you get on my back, everyone has done this video, yes. So I'm going to jump on the trend of doing it, and I think I've got a pretty good lineup here. I'm pretty happy with it. Anyway, on with the video. We're going to start off with the teams now. We're going to go through them 10 to 1. And then coming in at number 10 is Haas. I do believe Haas are going to come last in the championship. I honestly think they're going to score 1 or 2 points all season. I think they're going to be an absolute dog. They're not going to be that good. They're going to have the money, yes, but with two very young driver lineups, no experience in Formula 1, it's going to be very difficult, I think. And just to progress forward, when you're going from literally nothing, because these guys have never driven in F1 before, to, you know, I mean, we had Romain Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen who've been in F1 for years, and they, you know, they just about did something with the car, but that's using their experience. But when you're going with loads of experience and no experience, I think it's going to go in the mud, and I think Haas are going to be terrible this year. The no experience is really going to hurt them. Yeah, they'll have the money, but they won't know what to do with it because they won't have the experience. That's my predictions. Haas in 10th. Coming in at 9th place, I do believe it's going to be Williams. I think they will not be last this year. They will have a better chance. I think it's going to be interesting this year. I really do believe Williams will be improved. They've also got some help from Mercedes now, I believe, so that will definitely help them a lot. I think they're using their gearboxes now or something like that, so they'll be using parts. They won't be doing a racing point, but I think they will be doing a lot better. Their drivers are getting more experienced every race. Latifi, I think he's going to do quite well this year. I think he's been very underrated, and I do believe he's going to have a bit of a better year, and I think he will score some points. Obviously, George as well will be scoring points, but I do believe both drivers will be scoring points this year. You know, especially in one of those chaotic races where anything can happen. I do believe Latifi and Russell will be there this year. Coming in 8th place, I believe Alfa Romeo will come in 8th, and I think that's pretty obvious. I think the bottom three will always going to be them three, but I think Alfa Romeo is still going to have a bit of an average year. Nothing special, but they're not going to be terrible. They'll score a few points. I think that's about it really for Alfa Romeo. I don't think they'll have any standouts. They'll have a few, probably 8th places, probably be the highest they'll get this year, I believe. Apart from that, I think they're going to be pretty average. Also, if you are new around here, make sure to like and subscribe. I will be doing more F1 content when the F1 season fully starts. I'm just trying to slow my way into it. I also do football videos and I do commentary videos. I also do some live streams, so make sure to check it out. And like and subscribe. The video also really does help me out, so make sure to like and subscribe. Anyway, carry on with the video. Coming in 7th place, I think this one's a kind of, it's gonna happen, I do believe. I think it's quite an obvious one, and I think that Alpha Tauri will finish in 7th this year. I just think the car will just be better than the bottom three, better than the low, you know, not too good cars, but I think they'll be the bottom end of the midfield. I think they'll be just there or thereabouts. It will definitely be more midfield than lower. They have two very good drivers. I think they'll do pretty well, to be fair, but obviously the midfield's so close, so I think they will be finished 7th compared to the other teams who've got more experienced drivers. Also, I think better cars in general anyway. But the AlphaTauri team will definitely be there. They'll be very close to the midfield. Maybe another win. Coming in 6th place, we have Alpine, or Renault, as they used to be known as. I think they're not going to do that well this season. No, that's a lie. I think they will do well, but the problem is they've changed a lot of things around. I think the new rebrand, they've got rid of Cyril. I think that's going to be a big shock to the system, and I think things will be run differently, which will ruin the way people have already been working, how they know, you know, they've had a system put in place now. I think everything will change, and I think it'll kind of set things into a mess. I don't think they'll do bad. I think they'll probably have about the same sort of year as last year, honestly. They'll have some good performances, but I don't think they'll be terrible. But there is something, I don't think they'll just be as good. There's just something about Alpine and the way everything's changing up over there in Alpine. I feel like stuff's going to be different this year. I don't know why. Coming up in 5th place, we have Scuderia Ferrari. I think Ferrari will have definitely a better season than last year, with two very good drivers in Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, but they just won't be still there. I think they'll be definitely there or thereabouts. I think they've improved their engine. but they're still going to have the same chassis. But I'm pretty sure this chassis from last year was still pretty good. I think they'll definitely do better. Carlos Sainz, but I think whether they'll lose points, I think they will crash. They'll have a few coming together. I think they're going to be very, very close on pace. And I think there'll just be a few coming together or a few little mishaps like Ferrari do, or they'll get the strategy wrong. I just think there'll be some sort of tension there. And I think that will mess up their championships. But I think they'll still be pretty decent. They won't be obviously where they're supposed to be, but they'll definitely be better than last season. Coming in 4th place, we have Aston Martin. Yep, Aston Martin. I think they'll finish in 4th this year. I think they're not allowed to they're not allowed to copy cars like they did last year. They're not going to be able to do a pink Mercedes. But what they're going to be able to do, I assume they're still going to be able to bring some of the parts over that they used for last season anyway. So I think they'll still be a very good team. Obviously, new funding, new drivers. They've got Sebastian Vettel in, 4-time world champion. That's really going to help them, I think, with the experience Vettel's got. I think Vettel will want to come with a fresh mind anyway. He'll want to come with new ideas. He want to try new things out. Because I think that's what you want to do when you want to start fresh. You want to do everything new. You don't want to have the same sort of mentality. He's going to change stuff around, and I think it will do them very well. But I don't think they'll get into that top 3 position. And because I think in the top 3 and in 3rd place will be, it's pretty obvious, but I think McLaren will finish P3 again this season with Daniel Ricciardo and Lando Norris. What a lineup that is. Also with McLaren Mercedes. And I think that will be a very, very big thing that will help them. Having just that Mercedes engine just to get them the extra power, that's definitely going to help them. And they're already a brilliant team anyway with 2 very, very good drivers. Also bringing in Daniel Ricciardo, very experienced driver, very fast race winner. He knows how to do the job and he does the job very well. And I think that will really, really help them. So I think Daniel Ricciardo is definitely just going to make that team better than what they are. The championship standings will be very close between Ricciardo and Lando, but P3 I think it's going to be McLaren. Top 2 now, I think we know where this is going to go. I'm going to play it safe. I was going to try and be optimistic, but I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to say Red Bull 2nd, and obviously means Mercedes 1st. I think Red Bull will definitely have a better car than they did last year. The way they're bringing in Sergio Perez, very, very experienced driver, definitely going to help them rather than having an unexperienced second driver. They're going to have 2 very, very good drivers now, which they'll definitely be more consistent and scoring their points. But just that Mercedes is going to be too good, I think, still. It's Mercedes. They'll come up with some new invention. They'll come up with some... I mean, they came up with DAS last year. They'll come up with something new this year, I believe. Red Bull... They'll definitely be closer to in the championships, I think. Definitely be closer. Definitely a closer championship for drivers as well. As I think Red Bull just going to be very, very good this season. I think this will be their year. Moving on to the driver standings now. Now this is the big juicy one where we're going to go through all 20 drivers now. Let's go from the bottom. Coming in P20, I think will be Nikita Mazepin. I think Mazepin will not score a single point this season. I think the Haas will be very, very slow. And I think just Mazepin just won't be there. I really don't think he'll be there. I don't think he'll be on the pace. No one likes him anyway, but that doesn't affect the speed. But honestly, he has had some good drives in the past in Formula 2, but he's not going to be there realistically. He's in the Haas as well. I think he'll finish last. Coming in P19, I think we're going to have Nicholas Latifi. I think he's going to score a few points this season, maybe 1 point at least. I think he'll definitely score a point. That Williams is definitely going to be better as well, but I don't think he'll finish last. I think Latifi is definitely going to improve going on to his 2nd year. He's got better towards the end of the season, more consistent. He was matching George's pace, especially in race pace. He was pretty much outperforming George, I'm pretty sure, in race pace and in race situations, apart from when George obviously went to Mercedes for a race. But apart from that, I think Latifi was there or thereabouts for George in the race. So I think that will really help him out, that just race pace. And also, I think he'll score a point, and I think P19 is where he'll finish. Coming in P18, I think it's going to be Mick Schumacher. I think Schumacher, we all know that he takes time to come into a car. You know, he needs at least a season just to get on the pace. He's very slow, but then when he gets on the pace, he's very quick. He normally takes about a season. So I think this season he'll be average, he'll be there or thereabouts on the pace. I think he'll have one race where he'll score a point, and I think that'll be it for Schumacher. One of them sort of hectic races, I think he'll get a point because he knows how to win championships. He's won the Formula 3 and Formula 2 championship. He knows how to win. So he knows how to be consistent. He knows how to score points. He knows what to do. So I think he'll definitely be consistent. I don't think he'll make many mistakes, but I don't think he'll be on the pace. very quickly. George Russell coming now in P17. Now, Russell, I think, will have a very good season again in his final year with Williams. I think this is definitely going to be his final year for Williams. Also, look out for 2022 driver predictions, where I'm going to predict all the changes and where people are going to go. So, yeah, I think George will have a very, very good season with Williams this year. Score, I think, points, especially on multiple occasions. I think there'll be at least 2 races where you score points, or you'll have one big race, I think. Williams will be improved anyway this season, but George is just such a good driver, and he's learned now. He's learning very good at what he does. He's going to be good this year. It's not going to be a surprise. P17, George Russell. P16 now, I'm going to say Kimi Räikkönen. I think this year will be his last year in Formula 1, and I do believe his pace won't be really there. He'll score maybe a few points, and that'll be it. He's kind of losing it anyway. He'll have some spectacular races like Portimao, where he'll make up 20 bloody places on the first lap. But I just think this year he's going to be even a bit slower, and the car's just not going to be there anyway. So I think Kimi will struggle this year, and I think he'll call it a day at the end of the year. So yeah, Kimi Räikkönen P16, and in P15, I've gone for Antonio Giovinazzi.
It's me, Antonio, as well.
Oh, Antonio!
Yeah!
Antonio!
Oh, fucker.
Is it a Fuoco or Giovinazzi?
Giovinazzi! Famiglia Formula 1.
I've gone for Gio in P15. I do believe he will get the better of Räikkönen this year. He has been improving, and he has been getting better every season, and I do believe Giovinazzi will have a good season this year. He'll beat Kimi, but it's just he won't have the car underneath him to really do some spectacular races, but I think he'll get some points this year, and I think he'll do all right. P14 this year, I've gone for Yuki Tsunoda. I do believe Yuki Tsunoda will have a very good season in his first year. He's obviously a very, very good driver. He knows what to do. He's a race winner. He knows what he's doing. Okay, he's a good driver, but I don't think he's going to beat Gasly. I think he'll just be at the bottom of the midfield. This is rookie year. I don't think he's going to go all guns blazing. He's going to want to take it slow. But I think he'll have some very good races along the year. You know, have some I feel like he'll get like a P6 or something this year. I feel like he'll have one of them races where he'll do really well. It'll be a hectic one. He knows where to put a car. He's very consistent. He doesn't make many mistakes. I think he'll be slow at the start, but then halfway through the season, he'll just come alive, and then Yuki will score quite a few points. But I don't think it'll be too late to move his way up in the championship. So I feel like he's going to be P14. Coming in 13th place, I think this is probably a controversial one. I'm a big fan of this guy, but I think P13 will be Fernando Alonso. Alonso, I think the age is going to get the better of him, and obviously he's been a while without being in Formula 1. I think, yeah, 2018 he was last in Formula 1, which is a few years now, and I think that will just trying to get back into the rhythm of Formula 1. I think it's going to hinder him. And he's going against Esteban Ocon, who's a very young driver, very, very good driver, and I think he just won't get the better of Ocon. I think he'll be slow at the start, but then work his way up towards the end of the season. He's very experienced. He's a 2-time world champion. He's not going to be slow by any means, but I just don't think he's going to be as good as everyone expects him to be. But yeah, I think that's quite low for Alonso, but I think he'll still be there or thereabout. I do believe he might get a podium this year in one of them sort of races, and I think he'll get a podium. But I think that's about it. I think you have one podium as like a spectacular race. I think that'll be it for Alonso. He'll just kind of finish P8 all season, really. Well, you'll be there or thereabouts, but nothing special. P12, I've gone for Esteban Ocon. I think, like I said, I think Ocon will get the better of him, but I do believe, I think it'll be very close between the drivers, but I think Ocon will just be better. He's obviously had a year in that car already, and he knows the team a lot better than Fernando will, which I think will help him. Toward the end of the season, he got a lot better. He matched Ricciardo's pace. The problem was he had such an unlucky start of the season that basically ruined it for him. But he got very good towards the end. Without being unlucky, he would have done quite well last season. So I think Ocon will be very good this season. Be better than Alonso. P11, I think P11 will be Lance Stroll. Yep, I do believe Stroll. I've got a feeling that Stroll was going to struggle this year. I don't know why. I think it's just maybe the pressure of having Vettel as a teammate. I don't know. I just got a feeling about Stroll that he won't do as good. Knowing my luck, he'll probably have a very, very good season. That's the problem with Stroll. He's either going to be very good or very bad. I think Stroll will have a bit of a struggle season, but he'll have some very good races, I think. a bit like Alonso. I think he'll get a podium maybe, but I think he'll mostly finish around P8s and stuff. But he'll just be that more consistent and have that better car than the other drivers, which is why he'll be up the table. P10, I've gone for Pierre Gasly. Now, I do believe Gasly is going to have an absolute blinder of a season this year. I think he's going to do very, very well. I don't know why, but he had such a good season last year. Obviously, the race win. But I think he's going to have a really good season this year, and then he's going to move. And I think he's going to leave it on a high. P10 will be very good for Gasly. He's a very good driver, and I think he's going to absolutely kill it this year. I think he might even get a few podiums, on some of them sort of races. I think he'll definitely be very consistent this year. I think there'll be a few P6s, them sort of positions. I think he's going to do very well this year. P9. Now this is where it got really difficult for me, and I struggled. Originally, I put Sebastian Vettel in P9, but there's something about Vettel doing well this year, so I pushed him up and I moved Carlos Sainz down to P9. I think Carlos Sainz will finish 9th. I don't know about that one. I think Sainz will do very well, but I think the problem will be the car. I think the Aston Martin will be better than the Ferrari, which is why Vettel will finish ahead, just based on the car. But Sainz, I think he'll do very well. I think he'll be very close to Leclerc on pace. I think he's very underrated, and everyone's putting him down. I think he's going to be very, very good this year. I think he might get a race win. I'm not even joking. Maybe not a win, actually. I think a win's pushing it. But he's going to do very well. Definitely a podium. Sainz is a very, very good driver. Very underrated. And I think he's going to do very well. But P9, but it's going to be very, literally 1 or 2 points between the top 9 to top 7, probably. It's going to be very close. P8, I've gone for Sebastian Vettel. I think he's have a very good season, but I said very, very close. I think he'll just have a podium that will make a difference. Something I think he'll definitely have a podium or 2. Vettel I think he's going to change everything up. I've already said this before. He's going to change. Hopefully, he's going to do very, very well. I'm a big fan of Vettel. I like Vettel, but I think he is going to do a lot better this season. New team, new surroundings. I think he's going to do very well. P8. P7, I've gone for Charles Leclerc. I think Charles Leclerc is going to have a very good season. The car's going to be even better than last year, so that will help him. He's very consistent, doesn't make many mistakes. He's a brilliant driver, race winner. He knows what he's doing. He knows that car. He knows that team. Very good season from Vettel, but Leclerc, but I just don't think Leclerc will have the car beneath him to really fight for anything else. So I think best of the rest, really, in my opinion, P7. And then P6, I've gone for, this is where it gets difficult, but P6, I've gone for Lando Norris. Lando Norris and P6. I think Lando Norris are going to be very, very close on pace. I think he'll be happy with the P6, but obviously I think he's going to be in P5. But I think P5 will be Daniel Ricciardo. I think them two are going to be so close together. I think there's literally going to be a point or 2 between them. They're going to be very close on pace. Norris obviously knows the team, he knows the car. Ricciardo's obviously a very quick race winner. So it's just going to be, put them together. They'll be very close, very good team together. They'll be very consistent. I can't see anything wrong going between them. Can't see them fighting or crashing. But yeah, I do believe they'll be very close. But I think Ricciardo's just experience and speed will just get him just that tiny bit ahead. And the top 4 now. And P4, you're probably going to guess who this is, but I'm going to put Sergio Perez. I think he'll get the better of that Red Bull, and I do believe he'll get a race win this year. I can see Perez getting a race win this year. I can just see it. Perez, P4, I think he'll be very consistent this year, but obviously I just don't think that, I think that second cars anyway is quite difficult. But I think P4 will be very good result for him. Red Bull will be very happy with that. He'll be very consistent. He'll get a race win, a few podiums on the way probably. But I just don't think he'll be, I think he'll struggle a bit at the start, which is why he'll fall down, which is why I don't think he'll get a P in the top 3. But I think P4 is very respectable for Sergio Perez. P3 now, your top 3, and I'm going to go for Valtteri Bottas. I think this year will be his last year in Mercedes. I think it'll be his last year in Formula 1, I believe. I think he's just going to have a pretty average year. I think he's just going to be Lewis's sidekick just to try and get Lewis the 8th World Championship. I think Bottas might get a few wins. Actually, I don't think he'll even get a race win. I think he'll get a lot of P2s, but I think he's going to have another, I think it was 2018 where he didn't get a race win and just got a bit unlucky. But I think Bottas, his confidence isn't going to be very high, I don't think. He could prove me wrong. He always starts well, but he goes off towards the end of the season. P3 for Bottas. I think Verstappen and Hamilton are going to be different breeds this year. And P2, I'm going to put Max Verstappen. I think Verstappen will get P2. and that's just mainly down because that Red Bull won't be as quick as that Mercedes. But I think they'll definitely be closer. It'll be definitely a closer fight. I'm going to predict this. My bold prediction is that the championship will go down to at least the last 2 races. I don't think it'll be like 5 races to go. I think it will be a very close battle this year. If only Verstappen doesn't get unlucky, because obviously he's had a lot of unlucky races where his engine just cuts out and blows up. If there isn't literally none of that and his engine's fine and he doesn't make mistakes, I do believe Verstappen it'll be very, very, very close battle this year. And obviously P1 will be Lewis Hamilton, his 8th world title, and I'll be very happy with that. I'm a Lewis Hamilton fan, so I would want Lewis just to get his 8th and then he can do whatever he wants. I just want Lewis to get an 8th. I don't care. I just want Lewis Hamilton just to be the greatest, and then I'll be happy. And I think Lewis will just get, it's kind of inevitable. He's a very good driver, very consistent. He doesn't make mistakes. He's going to have that Mercedes. I mean, he hasn't been confirmed. Bold prediction, Lewis Hamilton. What? Drives a Mercedes? Yeah, I think Lewis, he should sign. And then Lewis will get 8th title. And then Verstappen will get P2. But we're very close. And I think it's going to be a very, very good season. Anyway, that's my predictions for F1 2021. I think there's a few bold predictions, but I think I've done quite well. I'm quite happy with the layout. Hopefully things are very different and things are all over the place and it's very close and a good season. Anyway, if you're new to this channel, make sure to like and subscribe. Appreciate it, means a lot. I'm going to be trying to do more Formula 1 content, but obviously there's no Formula 1 to talk about at the moment, so it's mainly going to be football, I think, at the moment. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Share this video with your friends and family. Just share it with everyone. Let the F1 community know that we're here. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. See you all later with a brand new video in a bit. Bye.